Are you looking for tips for traveling without breaking the bank? Well, stay tuned, and we're going to give you a few tips for traveling on a budget.
Fantastic. Travel must not impact your finance, at least not too much. In this video, we'll give you some tips to travel without breaking the bank. Stay tuned, because at the end of the show, we will give you an extra tip that can save you thousands of dollars.
Good
Thousands.
information. So if you happen to be new to the channel and you like travel tips and travel videos, now is a great time for you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss one of our wonderful videos.
Absolutely. So tip number 1, do your research. Start planning for your trip in advance. Prepare a spreadsheet with all the expenses, hotels, transportation, meals, etc. and see how much the holiday is going to cost you. When you have the spreadsheet, we have a good idea of the cost, and it's easy to budget for it. It is to come up with a plan to save some money for this cost. Our favorite way to do it is to divide the expenses by the number of months that we have left before we have to make the final payment. And then we know how much we have to save every month.
Yep, that's good.
Sometimes you have to prepare some excursion or some hotel or some meals. Well, make sure you include these in the spreadsheet and mark it as paid as you go.
That's great advice. So if something costs $2,000 and it's going to be in a year, you just divide 2,000 by 24.
12.
Tip number 2, consider traveling in the off-season. In many areas of the world, you have a high season, a low season, and a shoulder season in between. For example, in Europe, the shoulder season is March and April and October, November. And you can get cheap Caribbean vacations in the fall. Traveling during the shoulder season, the weather isn't too bad.
No.
And hotels and flights are cheaper, so it won't break the bank.
Absolutely.
Also, cities are not too crowded with tourists, and usually the lines to get into any museums and attractions are way shorter.
Absolutely, go for it. Well, tip number 3, check for last-minute deals. Today there are so many websites that offer last-minute deals. If you sign up for their newsletter and check what they offer, very often you can score some amazing prices. The key is being flexible and with your dates. So if you are able to be flexible, go for it.
Good point. Travel on a Tuesday and come back on a Friday.
Absolutely.
Tip number 4, travel off the beaten path. There are many places to visit that are off the beaten path. They usually cost a fraction of the well-known tourist attractions. In Europe, it can be very advantageous to stay in the small towns outside the big tourist areas and just take a commuter train into the town every morning. And in countries like Italy, some areas offer farm stays. They're called agriturismo here in Italy. And usually these farms are quite beautiful, and traveling to one of them really won't break the bank. And a quick train ride will take you into the city center.
Absolutely. Tip number 5, consider all-inclusive travel option. If you can choose an all-inclusive option, go for it. All-inclusive option makes budgeting for your trip so much easier, since you don't have to think about meals and all the extra costs. For example, in Europe, many hotels offer breakfast included, free breakfast. And even sometimes they offer a second meal. In Italy, it's called mezza pensione.
Yep.
And most of the time it's lunch. So if you have this option, go for it.
Or definitely consider it.
Absolutely.
Tip number 6.
Our favorite.
Cruising can be more affordable than a land tour. In Europe and Southeast Asia, for example, many cities are built on the ocean or very close by. And this makes cruising in those areas extremely advantageous. All your meals, transportation, and entertainment, they all get included in your cruise fare. Also, you don't have to deal with multiple currencies because on board, it's the US dollar. And my favorite thing about cruising is that you don't have to pack and unpack so many times.
Absolutely.
Yeah, your resort takes you to a new destination every single day.
Absolutely. And gives us to tip number 7, use public transit. If you're traveling to a big city, familiarize yourself with the public transit system. For example, check online for the timetables, map, and routes. It's not only quicker, you don't need to find a taxi or another transportation, but it's also usually rather cheap. Many cities offer a transit pass that covers a day or several days. And you can go for it, and you can go as many times as you want.
Remember that time in Japan?
Absolutely. Tokyo, we did 2 days for the price of one pass.
So, number 8, avoid the tourist traps.
Absolutely.
Look, when you travel, just avoid the major tourist traps. Look, that wax museum might seem unusual, but did you really go halfway around the world to see an attraction that exists in every bloody city of the world?
Yep.
If you decide to do the gondola ride in Venice, for example, or travel on a tuk-tuk in Bangkok, ask the price in advance if you don't want to break the bank when you arrive. And if you do decide to bring home some souvenirs, avoid the gift shops. Instead, go to a local supermarket or a local market where you can find, some fridge magnets or things made by local artisans for a fraction of the price.
Absolutely. Tip number 9, use travel points if you can. You can collect loyalty points with your airline or with your credit card. Using points is a great way to go traveling without breaking the bank. And you'll have money for the flight, car rentals, and hotel. However, the key is to using travel points is to be flexible, and again, this is the same with your traveling to avoid blackout dates. And I think travel points might be a thing of the past.
Yeah, that's for another video.
Yep.
All right, folks. Number 10, check for the free things to do in a city. Every city has plenty of free things for you to visit, and sometimes you can even visit free museums and art galleries. Consider also a free tour guide.
We did it.
Yep, in Chile.
Yep.
You can check online if there's a place that you're visiting offers these type of services, and these guides give you a free tour of the city in exchange for some tips at the end. We used this
several times,
and we had a great experience.
Absolutely. Remember we told you about a bonus tip that might save you thousands of dollars? Well, this is it. Hopefully you won't use your travel insurance ever, but in case you need to use it, make sure you know exactly how to use it and what it's covered. And this is going to save you thousands. If you don't have travel insurance, check with your credit card or shop around for travel insurance. There are several places that offer you travel insurance at a very affordable rate, but make sure to know what is included. Remember, trip interruption and trip cancellation are very advantageous, and we had to use it once, and it was very good.
Yep.
Also, make sure that when you buy travel insurance, you buy it from a professional travel consultant. And most importantly, make sure that everything it tells you, it's in writing. And if it doesn't give you in writing, ask for an email to follow up with every details in writing, because that's the most important thing.
Great advice.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed these few tips for traveling without breaking the bank. Tell us, do you have any upcoming travel plans booked for this year?
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, see you soon.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.